Happy Friday for the first of two streams that will occur today. This one, really quick, Midnight Express, and our Star Trek Weekly show later on tonight at 7 p.m. We will continue where we left off during our watch party. And then this Saturday night, for the very first time, we will be airing the Sci-Fi Center Saturday night overnight live show. It's exclusively on the Sci-Fi Center's channel. If you guys want to be there for that one, youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. Like and subscribe, both the Poindexter Lounge and our channel there. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat for you. And there you go. All right. So this is the Midnight Express, one of two platforms. The other one being the semi-overnighter, where we basically exclusively answer whatever questions you guys have throughout the day. The only difference between the overnighter and the Midnight Express is it's really short. Usually it's about anywhere between a half hour and 45 minutes, whereas a semi-overnighter generally is about 90 minutes or more, depending what the topic. Avatar only tonight because allergies are destroying my life today, along with heat. My eyes are nearly swollen shut. I look like Mr. Magoo, and you know I'm a hard look to begin with. You do not want to see me now, nose running and shit. I'm coughing. It's just like I said, 106, 107 out here plus allergies. I don't know where the allergies coming from because we didn't have that much wind, but man, it's been killing me all day. So, how you doing, Ghostly Visitor? Welcome back. I love your avatar. Hi, Aaron. Jacob, what's going on? Top of the morning, actually. Top of the morning, Ray. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I took some Benadryl before I logged on here, about maybe half hour or so before. So I should start feeling the effects here pretty soon. So, yeah, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Central Time, I think. No, when it came to the fireworks, as soon as I got off from what I was doing, I came straight into the house and I put on my headset and started just listening to music. And not a big fan of the 4th of July festivities. I mean, other than the free food, I am a big fan of America, and I'm a big fan of celebrating, the Declaration of Independence. It's just like the fireworks. I outgrew that shit as a kid, and the stuff that they use as fireworks now are literally ordnance. The same stuff I used the same stuff I had to be certified and play with the Army are now in the hands of untrained kids and half drunk people who probably shouldn't be playing with explosives. So there you go. All right. So yeah, pretty slow week. I mean, it's been a holiday week. Nothing new to report on the writer strike other than SAG-AFTRA. Looks like they're getting ready to go ahead and strike. I'm getting ready, hopefully, for my trip to Comic-Con in a couple of weeks. The one thing that could jam up my Comic-Con is like the one reason I am going is the fact that because Hall H won't be the circus that it usually is, some of the people who are sponsoring my show, they may decrease their need for help. And that's what I'm going to be down there and doing. So I'm hoping that, the exit of the circus doesn't mean that they need less people now, in which case I might get bumped, but who knows. As of now, July 7th, 12:07 a.m., I am going to Comic-Con for at least 2 days. The hotel situation is actually looking pretty good. The prices are dropping. I think that has a lot to do with the whole fact that, all the studios won't be there. And like I said, I want to go this year specifically because of that, because it's going to be a Comic-Con and not a complete, just utter madness. I mean, I'm not big on Hall H. I never have been. I do not like what Comic-Con has become with the studios being down there. I understand why they're down there, but at the same time, they invented this little thing called YouTube. The trailers hit there, as soon as they hit anywhere. And I'm not a big fan of convention exclusives, whether it be CinemaCon or anything. If you have something to show the general public, show the general public, especially if you're months and maybe a year away. You showing it to 6,000 people exclusively in a room versus millions. What do you think is going to do better business wise? So, never been a big fan of what goes on at Comic Con outside of the pop culture, comic books, toys, cosplay, these type of things. I think it's grown into something that I've just pretty much avoided for a while. But this year, being with the strike and everything else, it presents an opportunity for a comic book geek like me to go down there and actually go down there for what it was actually created for. So, looking forward to it. All right, let's see. How you doing, Tim? Yeah, that's what I've been told that the awesome outdoor and hotel hall events are more fun. Yeah, and a lot of this is I just what, it's just like when I go to wrestling. There's something about being around my fellow wrestling geeks, whether it be sitting watching a pay per view at the store, or when I go down, when I go to an actual event, or when we're online, when I'm watching a wrestling stream and somebody else is putting one on. I mean, I just like being in the midst of those people, and it's the same thing with my geek culture. I just Comic Con used to be where you went down and you just met people. For a business owner like me, I get to meet distributors and get deals and everything, and make contacts. It has turned into something since the mid 2000s that I just didn't want to be a part of anymore. Um, and I started going to more local conventions like Las Vegas. Amazing Comic Con really does a good job with the one they do out here. Some of the other ones that are not as bloated as what Comic Con has become, especially given the infrastructure that San Diego is. It's just not really set up for that. So yeah, I mean, I know the Nerd Queens are going down there. I probably get to meet them in person. There's a lot of people I've got to know through YouTube that might be down there that I get to meet. Plus, just meeting and talking with geeks in general is something therapeutic about that. So, and yeah, there's a lot of outdoor stuff that goes through the Gaslamp District all the way up through. There's like parties and stuff that people throw that back in the day when you go to Comic Con, you could meet some people there, and a lot of the times they would be throwing some kind of party in their hotel room. Nothing crazy, but just geeks. I mean, one year we played Magic. It was a party I got invited to while I was at Comic Con, and the guy gave me his card. They had a large hotel room area, a conference room area. Dude, we just played Magic the Gathering for like an overnight section, and then went right back into con. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking to get back into again. So, how you doing, Ghostly? All right. The only thing that should be exclusive to events like Comic Con should be the like merchandise. Yeah, con exclusive, con exclusive. But as far as like trailers and stuff goes, I mean, like I said, just they show you trailers and stuff that only people at the con get to see. I'm like, you're not making your money off of 6,000 people at Comic Con or 10,000 people at Caesar's Palace. You're making your money off the excitement generated by millions. Millions of people are on YouTube. Millions of people are on social media. Millions of people on Instagram. All these places where you can instantaneously put out a product and have everybody at once get excited about it and see it. Great for the people that are there if they want to be in within 100 feet of the stars and the panels and all that. I don't need that. I mean, I've seen my fair share of celebrities. I don't need to do all that. I'm in Vegas. I mean, we get to see them half the time by accident here. And even still, I mean, it's like I want to go down. Like you said, I want to go down to Alex Ross's booth, get some stuff autographed by him. But some of my art, I mean, top and front, anybody who's down there with a panel, with a booth, I want to go down. I'll wait in line for that. But as far as like the panels and all that stuff, I have YouTube for that. So, are you on the good drugs right now? Clint's in the hospital dealing with some health issues, and they're giving him magical stuff to get through the pain. So, get well soon, Clint. All right, so let's see. All right, well, thought on James Gunn confirmed Superman Legacy will canonically be David Cornsweet's age. What is he? 33? That's fine with me. I've always been okay with starting a Superman. I want to see. I do like the fact that he's starting Superman without an origin story. We've already seen that. I am going to try to. I haven't been able to do it today because I've had film promotions. We have the last leg. We have another Mission Impossible promotion that I'm doing tomorrow. And this time of year, it's really tough because I open up the store with those promotions. And a lot of time, people are waiting for me to get on the list for those. So I have to deal with them, do giveaways and everything else. I know he's moved it later on in the afternoon. So there's a good likelihood I will be there if it was like it was last time where I was able to jump on towards the tail end. But if it's like right at 11ish or something like that, that's right when I open the store, and I'm usually dealing with customers like right off the bat. So I'm going to do my best to be there because I do enjoy having a conversation with those guys. Ooh, wow, the Benadryl is drying me up, which is what I needed, but it's making me have to drink a lot of water. The amount of flops that Disney's having, a lot of it is these movies are stacked up. The fact that and it's not just going to be Disney too. They're going to have a lot of problems across the board with all the studios. Money's tight. That's some of the reasons. Disney movies are movies you take your family to, but there's a lot of other movies out there that you can take your family to. And like I said before, with it costing an average $125 to take a family to a movie theater with all the the amenities, there are good movies that you may want to take your family to, but you're going to have to wait for Disney Plus simply because finances. You only have enough resources to do it once within a certain window of time. And by the time you get the resources to see this other movie that you had to cut out, it's already on Disney Plus or on some other streaming service. So a lot of that is they're cannibalizing themselves. The studios, they're putting out these movies, and they really used to have an unspoken word agreement to where there was enough space if there was something, it was a mutual respect so that they weren't doing this to each other. Another thing is, like I said, some of these movies are the victim of just people sitting, in several different platforms, whether it be Rotten Tomatoes, Cinema Score, all these other, just regular trade, just sitting and tearing a movie apart. And I've said this over and over again that this is something that has been going on for about a decade now. People's reliance on things that really have nothing to do with the movie hurting movies like this. Reviews, a lot of these reviews are coming from people who are never going to see the movie. So with Indiana Jones, a Disney movie, we promoted that movie. And I swear there were people just waiting for that movie to come out. Same thing with The Flash. Same thing with Black Adam. And we've had a culture of people waiting in the bushes for a movie to come out to destroy it. And we have, as a society and as consumers, have to grow up. We have to stop relying on stupid shit like Rotten Tomatoes, Cinema Score, all these other review situations, because at the end of the day, it's your money. Do not, I like I told you guys before, there's been so many times where back in the day when I would listen to a critic or I would listen to them out, some type of thing that I should have ignored, I would say, you know what, I've heard a lot of bad stuff about that movie, and I didn't go see it like a dummy. Then I would see it on a small screen or on a TV or on my computer and be like, wow, this is amazing. I should have seen this in IMAX. I should have seen this in Dolby Surround. And I let some clown who basically has joined the mob culture of destroying movies right out of the chute, or some critic who has different criteria of what makes a good movie for them, I let that person sway my view. And I don't do that anymore. Like I said, I have no use for Rotten Tomatoes. I have no use for, especially recently with Cinema Score. Some of their track record. I just have no use for these things. None of these venues, none of these platforms are going to be more professional, more knowledgeable about what makes a movie-going experience special for you. And like I said, I always refer to John Campea when he tries to defend these guys, saying that you wouldn't make a serious investment in a car or a computer without getting expert advice. There is no greater expert than you when it comes to you. You know what you like. You know what you enjoy. You know your trends. There's no person outside of your skull that is going to do a better job of that than you. So a lot of these movies, and especially The Flash, especially Indiana Jones, and you have other movies that'll be victim to it. But you can look at the last 10 years, and you can pick a bunch of movies that have basically been prey for this type of mentality. So I implore the moviegoer to evolve beyond all of these. If the trailer looks like something you want to go see, then go see it. And if you're going to listen to anybody, you listen to your ride or die partner that goes to your movies all the time and knows what you like because he's there with you or they're there with you. That's different. But a professional opinion about something that technically really can't exist. No one can be more professional about what you like than you. So a lot of these movies and these flops, and not just Disney, but a lot of these companies, is because we just have this online culture of destroying things before they get here. And I think we can go all the way back to BBS. We can go all the way back to Man of Steel. We can go all the way back to Flash. We can pick in not even that. Let's pick Eternals. Let's pick any of these movies. You find me a genre, I will find you a mob just waiting to destroy whatever's coming from that. And we listen to these things. We listen to these cinema scores. Why? I don't know. We listen to these critics. Why? I don't know. We listen to the YouTube community when you know damn well the majority of those guys are never going to see the movies that they're destroying. So it all comes down to the consumer, and I hope that a lot of this has been laid bare to the point where the consumer is paying more attention and being a little bit more stringent about who they listen to. All right. William Thada, Greta Gerwig's Barbie is poised for a huge opening at 85, $100 million. I think it's going to do more than that. Barbie is a cultural icon that really hasn't been tapped. So, I mean, I think Barbie, I would be shocked if Barbie, and that's not really a movie that you can really destroy like the previous questions, because Barbie is such a cultural icon. People who love Barbie are going to see this movie. It doesn't even have to be good. In fact, it looks horrible in my opinion. But I'm not going to go see it. But it's not my preference. So you guys who are going to go see it, a lot of you are. You enjoy it. I'm going to go see Oppenheimer. I can't imagine a more nightmare than Comic-Con. Nah. Comic-Con, like I said, this version of the recent past 15 years of Comic-Con, yeah, it's a nightmare. But yeah, Clinton's in the hospital. Everybody send him hospital. Yeah, send him well wishes. He's probably doped up right now, so might have to might have to mute him. Who knows? I do think geek conventions are meant to celebrate visual media, but I think many large ones have become too general. That's why local niche ones are more. Yeah, like I said, you go to when you go to a local one, you it's more narrowed down to they'll have some artists there, they'll have some big names there, but they're accessible. Like when they do the one down here in Vegas, Kevin Eastman is accessible, Tom McFarlane is accessible. Rob Layfield is accessible. When Stan Lee, that's where I met Stan Lee. Stan Lee was accessible. Adam West was due to be there, but he passed away 3 weeks earlier. Burt Ward was right behind me. He was accessible. When you go to these conventions, those type of people are accessible. It's not, and like I said, when you do it here in a lot of these places like New York or Chicago or LA or Vegas, you have out of all San Diego is not a very large city by comparison. Its downtown area is beautiful, but it's not the size of a downtown LA. It's not the size of Vegas. Vegas is designed for this. There is no such thing as a limitation, it's like there is in Comic-Con. If you've ever been to Vegas and you've gone to the Las Vegas Convention Center, you literally could fit San Diego Convention Center inside of the north wing of the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's that huge, and we're never going to run out of hotels here. That's what they do here. So who knows? All right, William. Simu Liu says Shang-Chi 2 was meant to be released after the Avengers Kang Dynasty. However, odds that it keeps being pushed back, circumstances beyond. I'm like, well, yeah, you have writer strike, you have the Jonathan Majors situation that they have to wait to see get resolved. But that's one of the bad things that you have when you do have a connected universe. At this point, everything is happening in sequence, so one thing can affect the other. So it's part of the business. Corset 28. Let's see. I know in comics, depending on who is writing them, Superman becomes Superman, and it depends on what narrative. He could start at. He will be 30 tomorrow. Oh wow, David Packard Cornsweet. July 8th, 1993. Let's see, filmography. Just reading his bio here. Yeah, well, Juilliard School at Pennsylvania. He turns 30 on Saturday, so happy prelated birthday. 20. Yep, he's 29 for another 20 hours, and he becomes one of the geriatric post 30-year-olds like me. Yeah, you're right. He will be 32. Yep, so perfect for me. Perfect age. We have an amazing Comic-Con. We have it out here every year. I mean, they missed it 2 years in a row with COVID, but it's out here. It keeps growing, So, but it's not as big as Comic-Con is. But I knew a while back, Vegas was trying to get Comic-Con, and San Diego fought tooth and nail to keep it, and they ended up keeping it. But like I said, sentimentally, San Diego Comic-Con, it being in San Diego, is legendary. But realistically and operational wise, Vegas was designed for the things that San Diego cannot do. You could make a lot more money for your nonprofit if you don't have to, limit things. Now you look at Hall H can only fit 6,000 people. We just did CinemaCon here, and I think there's 10,000 people that can fit in Caesar's Palace there, and we have movie theaters and theaters everywhere within a vicinity. And you could do it at the convention center, but the convention center has a huge ballroom that can fit way more people than Hall H. I mean, if any of you have ever been to the Las Vegas Convention Center, which would most likely be, you would see what I'm talking about. It is a massive complex, and they just added to it, and it keeps growing. So, and it's right in the midst of all the hotels. It's right down the street from the Strip, or right off the Strip on Paradise. So like I said, we fit 500,000 people in this city, guests and tourists, on New Year's Eve, and we don't run out of hotel rooms. And that's like almost twice as many people, more than twice as many people that are ever at Comic-Con. So we literally have the infrastructure to do something twice the size. But you know what? Like I said, everybody is like, it's such a, we can't take Comic-Con out of San Diego. It's meant to be there. And I'm like, you know what? Vegas was literally a city built for what Comic-Con is. San Diego, downtown San Diego, it isn't. Whenever you have to have a lottery and how a lot of the people can't even get in because of the fire marshal limiting how many people can go in there, that just doesn't happen here. We're about to host a Super Bowl here in Vegas. WrestleMania is here in Vegas, in a couple of years. We've hosted SummerSlams here. You can do that stuff in San Diego, but you also, you don't have it in close proximity, and it's just a matter of like I said, you compare the infrastructure that is downtown San Diego to what Vegas is designed to be. It's just a different animal. All right, William, thought on Chad. I'm not going to pronounce his name. Says they shot an alternate John Wick 4 ending where John Wick actually appeared in the end. Audience tested. I did not hear about this, so can't really answer. How's the water conservation right now? I want to mentally prepare it. I found out the wildlife's finding haven in homes needs preparation. Yeah, you got to deal with some coyotes. You know, they're not too bad. You just got to watch out if you got small dogs. Water conservation is getting better because of the drought. It's become a serious thing. You know, they were talking about the water levels that are raising at Lake Mead and how it was helping all the businesses. So we're doing better at it, but like I said, we are still in the middle of a drought. It's going to take a lot more to get us back to where we need to be, but you know what? We're navigating through it. Thank goodness for the streaming. This place would be a nightmare without it. Cool. Thank you. I'm glad I could break up the monotony. You talked about finishing the Snyder Works by using Kingdom Come as a template, but even without the current situation, you think Zach will gravitate towards Kingdom Come in general? I don't think Zach will. I think James Gunn will. I think James Gunn will do that because I think as the head of DC, I think that's something he wants to do. I don't think Zach would be the one to do that. I think James Gunn would probably use those characters that were involved in that in a story later on down the line. As I've expressed, explicitly in a couple of streams back or a couple of Saturday night shows back, I think they should have started out that way in order to resolve this particular universe. And I think it would have saved them the loss of a lot of money. I think there's a way they could have done it, and I explained it in great detail. I think there's a way they could have done it and made the remaining movies mean a lot more and been a lot more of an attraction going towards what he's about to do. And I think it would have left the general public with the last time that they see these characters with a more positive memory in their mind instead of the jumbled mess that they got. William thought and James Gunn said Superman Legacy will be a workplace origin story. That's great. Workplace origin story. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking he means the Daily Planet, but who knows? Yes, hit the like button for both the Poindexter Lounge. Enos is coming back soon. I don't have any details for you. We will basically, things are getting closer. So whenever he's on the air, depending on what his streaming schedule will be, that will dictate what we do on this particular channel. No, I have not. I have not seen it. Who's playing Bob Marley? Anybody know? Thought on The Flash is not expected to cross the $100 million at the worldwide box office. The movie had $225 million budget plus $150 marketing. That's sad, but that's one of the things that we were talking about before. To me, The Flash isn't going to get the box office that meets the quality of the movie. It was, and a lot of The Flash has a lot of intricate mistakes. I don't think it was an Ezra situation. Like I said, most people that I know didn't know Ezra Miller beyond the fact that he was a star. Even some of the people who did know about the stuff, they just didn't care about it that much to the point where we stopped them. A lot of the people we did interact with, though, did bring up, whether vaguely or in great detail, the fact that there's a new Superman, and by de facto, there is a new universe coming, and that this one might not mean it less. And if you look at it, you're asking someone to invest their time and the money. You sold this as a franchise, and you're about to sell them a new franchise while you're ending this one in an unsatisfactory manner. I think that did the majority of the damage. So it's sad that happened because the movie deserved to make a lot more money, but there was a lot of mistakes along the way that really doomed that movie. How you doing, Vince? Left us hanging last night, man. You knew we were going to sabotage ourselves. William thought of Matt Reeves says the film industry is a very challenging state created. Yes, he is 100% correct. And a lot of it is because even though they'll tell you one thing that they value the movie going experience and all this, a lot of these studios have streamers. And like I said before, getting your product onto a platform where you reap the majority of the benefit or of that a lot more than you're getting now is paramount to these guys. I even before the Flash release, to be honest with you, and you can go back and see where I said this. I think that the Flash was headed to PVOD as soon as they could get it there. I think Blue Beetle is headed to PVOD as soon as they can get it there. I think Aquaman, and it's because there's no middlemen. And I said this weeks, and I've been saying this for about a year. And even after David Zaslav got on and in front of that audience and said that at CinemaCon, saying that, we're never, we support the movie going experience and we're not going to do all this and that with streaming. And I'm like, dude, you just lied to those people. There's no way mathematically in hell that you are going to not take advantage of what streaming gives you as far as the percentages of the profit that you take home. The longer you keep it in the theater, the longer you're giving 33% to the theaters, the longer you're giving all these other outlets. And even when you're talking about the global box office, you don't even get that much. I think they take a lot more, at least a little bit more in the global box office because the home country gets, they got to make their money. So a lot of these people at your dinner table get to eat, before you get what's left over. And why not, add value to your streaming service? Because retention, and he said something about there's no proof that spending hundreds of millions of dollars on streaming stuff leads to more subscribers. It doesn't have to. You're going to get to a point where you have all the subscribers you're going to get at a certain rate. Retention is what's important. You showing your shareholders and stockholders that you can retain this amount on a weekly, monthly basis without losing people is worth that investment because then they turn around and invest in you. So I think the film industry is in a precarious position simply because not only are the people who are running the film industry looking for ways to get more money out of their product, but the consumer is having to make decisions because these movies are being released at a compressed rate, and you just, the economy is not where you can just drop. It's not like we were kids. Every week we were going to a movie. Movies are much more expensive now. Everything is much more expensive now, and wages aren't necessarily meeting that gap. So something has to give. So yeah, we're in a weird spot, but I think there's going to end up being a compromise. You're going to see these movies coming in 30-day windows. Bam, get it on streaming. And the people who figure out that you have to make those hundreds of millions of dollars investments in your streaming content are going to be the people who come out on top. All right. The Universal film, they don't really do much when it comes to this one. I don't know. I think Oppenheimer is what it is in regards to the appeal. Because it's going to appeal to people who have a thirst for history and people who like Nolan's movies. I don't know if there's anything that you could do to really, because we're promoting Oppenheimer and there's not much you can do. It's not going to make much money as Barbie. But it's one of those movies that when the Academy Award and the Golden Globe and all these things come around, it adds prestige to your studio when you get movies like what Oppenheimer is going to be nominated for Academy Awards. What's the budget? And the budget's $100 million, so they're going to make their money. They're going to make they found a way to make a $100 million movie with nuclear weapons in it, with a cast that has Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, and Christopher Nolan directing it. So they really don't need to, and I think it's going to make its money back But once again, this is one of those movies that you're going to look for at the end of the year as being nominated for, director and all that. Lloyd Kaufman is super accessible. He was a credible genius for his time. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And I was so happy to have him out here. And like I said, I am one of the coolest things that I have is our relationship with Troma. Yeah, a lot of downtowns that are not. San Diego is a major city, but it's nothing compared to like an LA or a New York as far as the square mileage of downtown area. And then Vegas is not a huge city either, but the entirety of Vegas is dedicated to this. You know, it was designed for outward tourists to come in. San Diego has tourism, yeah, but it's not the same as it is in Vegas, where that is the business. That the infrastructure was for tourists, almost entirely. So, yep, early happy birthday to our new Superman. William Donna, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is already certified fresh. I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes. However, I sent a group of people tonight, and this is where I hate being as busy as I am and not feeling all that great. I did not go to a movie that I really, really want to. I love every Mission Impossible movie. I think every Mission Impossible movie has gotten better, with each one. And the people that I did see that are getting back to me are along the same lines. They say it's great. I cannot wait to see this movie. Tom Cruise, happy 64th birthday. I will find whatever spell that was cast on you, whatever chemical that you added to your blood, whatever sarcophagus you sleep in that gives you your powers of immortality and the abilities at 61 to hang off of planes, jump over cliffs on bikes, jump out of planes, or parachute at high altitude. I'm going to find out. And when I get it, I'm going to be the next Tom Cruise. Damn it. I'm a cougar. Oh, jeez. Don't say that. You're not that old. Unless you go hunting for like 19-year-olds, then yeah, you're a cougar. Well, okay. I remember saying this. I can't remember what brought this up. But yeah, if you start hunting teenagers, yeah, I don't want to give your age on YouTube, but you got some time before you become a legit cougar. Then you get to have fun. Let's see. I bet hotels make their whole year doing this convention. Yeah, that's exactly like I said. And it would be it would be a blow to San Diego. I don't want to hurt San Diego because I know it will be a blow to them to lose that. It's huge. However, if you take away the sentimental and emotional ties to it and the history of it, and you just think about logistics, it's a no-brainer. The conversation's over in 2 seconds. What Vegas can do as far as hosting conventions and versus what that area in San Diego can do, it's not even a competition. The only thing San Diego would have going for it is the history. Oh, it's hundreds of millions. William thought on a Grinch horror movie titled The Mean One releases on digital platforms October 3rd after a whole year after it was announced. I'm looking forward to it. You know that all I want to do is destroy the childhoods of people who love these movies. Sorry. Blue Blood and Honey set the blueprint. All right. Yes. Make sure to subscribe to me. Like I said, we're taking the big leap. We're gonna have our anchor show, which is our Saturday show, and then I'm going to be doing a lot of short shows, like short content, informational content. You're going to see the return of the Sci-Fi Center Presents. Now, the long form Sci-Fi Center Presents will still be doing it here on the Poindexter Lounge. It'll be pre-recorded. The short form Sci-Fi Center Presents will be on our actual YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for all that. Yeah, question was Zaslav bought WB. Didn't his acquisition cover the cost of the Flash? Yes. so its performance doesn't really deter from it being woven into the DC future. It really doesn't. The only thing that it financially, like I said, when any money that was owed to people, financiers, and money that was outlying that had to be paid was part of the purchases because you can't. It's everything. You're purchasing everything. So you are now the person would owe that person money, but they purchase all that debt. That's why when you hear Warner Brothers saying we have this amount of debt, that's debt that they're working down. So they've already absorbed that into a plan. If the Flash's performance might make them trepid about the reception to the Flash itself. I don't know how much more that they were going. I know he's not doing a complete reboot. I keep hearing Wonder Woman's still part of the plan, and Gal Gadot's still part of the plan, but who knows? I don't necessarily think so because when they do the autopsy of these movies, how much of it was the quality of the movie? Remember what they said. What Zaslav said, he saw the movie before we did. James Gunn saw the movie before we did, and they said it was great. So who knows? And if it comes down to performance, once again, James Gunn did a movie that lost WB money. He's the head of DC now. And the movie he did that lost the money was The Suicide Squad, and I thought it was a really good movie. So at some point, you have to analyze it a little bit deeper and find out exactly what caused the movie. There were a lot of things that caused the Flash to fail that had nothing to do with the Flash. The same thing that's going to be with some of these other movies coming out. But yeah, as far as how they purchase it, I believe that the debt, they purchased Warner Brothers' debt. So anything that was owed or outstanding, they are already writing that off, writing that down, cutting wherever they need to. But yeah, they want to make as much money as possible off of the Flash. But that money they're going to already claim a quarterly loss, no matter what the Flash did. They're going to claim this entire thing on a loss sheet. So, all right, William Thorne and Anthony Mackie says Harrison Ford wore ripped pants on the set of Captain America: Brave New World because he lost his luggage. That sounds hilarious. He also said they gave him a pair of pants, but those weren't my work pants. Here it goes, Anthony. Just give me the damn pants. All right, we're about to wrap it up here. Yeah, I don't know if we're getting anything for Oppenheimer. I really don't think they're. I think the Flash is going to do tremendous on Max. I think that's where the majority of people are going to see it, and I think they're going to like it. But that's the cool thing about streaming is the investment that they just weren't going to make in person doesn't mean that they won't see this movie. That's how, like I said, that's like movies. There are certain movies that people are just not going to cross the threshold over for various reasons. Flash had its own reasons. So, but I think there's a lot of movies that are going to bomb over the next 2 years that are going to get great reception in physical media, PVOD, or streaming. And a lot of the money, like I said, I got to see how it works when it comes. When you acquire a company and you acquire its debt, physical media, things like that, that's how you're going to, that's how you're going to recoup your investment. But your investment wasn't in that particular movie as WBD. Your investment was in the company. So you invested everything that the company was, including its losses. Now, they're going to get a tax break on the Flash no matter what because it's a loss. The company itself is going to get, a tax break on it. So because it's, they lost a lot of money. And actually, they're in a better position the more they spend because it's the bigger the tax break. So I see them. I see them doing well on physical media. I see them doing well on PVOD, but I definitely see them doing great on Max. And once again, that's another way that you bring value to your streamer. JR Server, by the way, with what we've seen of Charlie Hunnam and Rebel Moon footage. People have been saying that might be Zach nodding to him being fan cast with Green Arrow. Thoughts on that? No. Uh, I mean, well, yeah, fans will always want to cast people, but I don't think it'll ever matter to him ever actually getting the job. But fan casting is just kind of weird because when people do fan casting, they're not using the same criteria that a filmmaker is doing. Who's 64? William thought of concept art for Donald Glover Prowler for Across the Spider-Verse seems to confirm that he's from the MCU, with the concept art being not necessarily. No, it doesn't. Donald Glover's somebody's concept. This concept art usually doesn't make it to the screen. There's a lot of concept art. Art. I don't think they gave you what they gave you in Across the Spider-Verse in regards to that character, but you also realize that he's in that universe. Donald Glover is in his universe, and the Prowler that is in this Across the Spider-Verse that is the Prowler for that one. That was killed in the original one. I don't see that as any proof that's it. And be honest with you, I really hope Sony maintains control over that character. I've said this ad nauseum that they don't need the MCU to make a live action Miles Morales a success. And you'll get a lot of the Marvel drunk guys that will point out, well, look at Amazing Spider-Man 2. No live action Spider-Man, regardless to who has made it, has made less than $700 million at the box office. And if you take adjusted dollars for some of these ones that were released years ago, that's even more money. They have proven that they can tell a Spider-Man story absent all the clutter that has become the MCU. So I don't think that's any indication that that we'll see that, reality. I think Sony needs to maintain control over that. They need to be the ones telling the stories when it comes to Miles Morales. And I don't see any indication that they wouldn't be. Yeah. I've known that from the start, so I think it's cool. I think the inspiration from Star Wars, and like we said when you brought up Kurosawa as well, these are influences that can't hurt you; they can only help you. All right, I'm not going to be able to answer every single question, but oh no, Tom Cruise is 61. 61. He turned 61 on the 4th of July. All right. All right, he says it was Seven Samurai in Space, which is Kurosawa. Where a lot of those Kurosawa films, I was like, I don't want any of your characters. It should be rated R. Yeah, I mean, because you can't. Star Wars is for the most part, accessible to all ages. Uh, Rebel Moon looks like kind of gritty, kind of violent. It's one of the reasons why Watchmen was created. They, with Alan Moore was going to do the mainline characters. DC was like, no, we'll give you some of these, characters. You create your own characters. You do whatever you want. They can be inspired by ours, but we don't want you, given the nature of your story. So yeah, I'm glad that he's doing his own thing. All right, guys, that's about it. We've gone for 52 minutes, so Midnight Express is achieved its goal. I will be back on the air later on this evening to do our Star Trek weekly show, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And that will be both on the Sci-Fi Centers channel and Point Action Lounge. And then exclusively on the Sci-Fi Centers channel, which is right beneath my little avatar here, youtube.com/@the-Sci-Fi Center. Make sure you like and subscribe there. And we will be doing our Saturday overnight live show, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I haven't got the guest list lined up, but by that point in time, we should have plenty to talk about. Probably bringing some merchandise, probably bringing some guests and film reviews, but it'll be our usual shindig. Pretty sure you guys enjoy it. So, all right. So the Benadryl is starting to set in. I'm starting to see two of me on my avatar screen, so that means it's time to go. All right, guys. Have a great start to your weekend, and we will see you later on this evening.